Hey there! I'm Riskable, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build a fully automated Runic Altar using nothing but Botania and vanilla Minecraft. As a bonus, I'm also going to show you how to fully automate the Botanical Brewery. Seriously! As usual, I'm going to go into exquisite detail on the how and why I made this build the way I did. Let's get started. The things you will need are one Runic Altar, a dispenser, a wand of the forest to go inside that dispenser so it can automatically activate the Runic Altar, 13 blocks of some building material. I'm using living rock, but you can use whatever you like. Cobblestone or dirt will look fine. One piece of dirt to hold the hopper hock we're going to need. We're also going to need an item frame for that hopper hock, 2 hoppers, an open crate, and 2 chests. We're also going to need a daffodil, a hovering hourglass, 1 piece of sand to go in that hovering hourglass, some living rock to make our runes, 5 redstone torches, 13 bits of redstone, 1 redstone comparator, 3 redstone repeaters, and a lever. And that's going to encompass the Runic Altar build. We're also going to need some way to get mana into the Runic Altar, so you'll want a mana pool somewhere nearby and a mana spreader to send it into the Runic Altar. Optionally, if you also want to automate the Botanical Brewery, you're going to need a Botanical Brewery, and either some monoglass vials or elf glass flasks. Let's get building. To build my fully automated Runic Altar setup, you're going to need to clear out a 5x5 area of space. Right in the center, we're going to dig a hole down one and put a dispenser. And inside this dispenser, we're going to put a wand of the forest so that it can activate the Runic Altar. In the corner here, we're going to put a hovering hourglass, and right in front of that, we're going to put a piece of redstone and a redstone repeater. This redstone repeater and this signal is going to be used to control our hoppers to drop things, so we need to put it on 4 ticks mode. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a redstone comparator facing away from the Runic Altar in this direction over here. And the way this works is, while the Runic Altar is cooking something, this redstone signal is going to be 1. So in order to take advantage of that, we're going to need to put repeaters down here and here. And this one is going to be used to enable our living rock hopper and disable our ingredients hopper, so that when this one is cooking, it's not going to drop any more ingredients, basically, and it will start dropping living rock. The next thing we want to do, actually I almost forgot, we need to put down some mana, right? Let's pretend for demonstration purposes that you've got a mana pool out here and a mana spreader of some sort pointing at the Runic Altar, right? For demonstration purposes, I'm going to use a Gaia mana spreader because it's nice and fast. Alright, now let's build up our infrastructure here, our little bit building materials. I'm using living rock, but you can use whatever you like. Doesn't really matter. Dirt works fine. What we're going to do is we're going to build up a little bit of a stairway here, and we're going to bring it out 3, and we're going to fill it with torches, right? And these torches, these 2 at the ends are going to use to control our hoppers, and this one in the center is going to supply a redstone signal to our open crate. And what the redstone signal does to the open crate is it tells it if there are any hopper hawks nearby, it basically means don't pick up these items that I drop for at least 10 seconds. That's what that does, and we want that feature. So we're going to have a always-on redstone signal supplied to this hopper hawk. But we also want to turn these 2 torches on and off pretty regularly without turning this one off. And the way we do that is we just put a block on top here. And we're going to run the redstone signal down here, like this. So when this hovering hourglass sends off a redstone pulse, it will send it up here, and it should turn this torch off and this torch off, which will enable these hoppers to allow them to drop 1 item at a time. And this one is going to hold our living rock. We'll put some in there. The next thing we want to do is we want to put down our daffodil. And the way this is going to work is a little bit interesting. I'm going to put a piece of redstone there on top of that, and a redstone torch here on the other side of it. Now I'm going to put the daffodil here, and I want it to be facing that direction there. And I need I need some sort of block behind the altar here to catch items that get thrown at it like that. Right? So the way this works is the daffodil is controlled by a redstone signal, and right now it's disabled. That's what that means. But when the altar is cooking, it's going to enable this daffodil, and that's going to put sort of forward air pressure on everything that goes this way. And that's important because when the Runic Altar is done cooking a rune, it sort of throws it up in the air in a random direction. And sometimes that random direction is mostly straight up, right? And if it goes straight up, you end up with this, right? Your rune will be sitting here floating around the Runic Altar thinking that it's part of the next ingredients for a recipe, and that will completely mess up your automation, and we really don't want that. So we want this daffodil to turn on when it's done cooking, or while it's cooking is good enough, to make sure that when that rune pops up, it gets blown away over here somewhere before our hopper hawk picks it up. Next, we want to use a little bit more of this redstone signal coming off of the Runic Altar to control this hopper right here, and I'll get into why that is in just a moment. So we don't want this hopper constantly dropping living rock all the time while we're not cooking runes, right? So that's what this torch here is going to do. Right? It's only going to enable this hopper when the Runic Altar is actually doing its thing. And the last thing we want to do is we want to put a piece of living rock here, well, your building material. And this is going to disable this hopper while the Runic Altar is cooking as well. So this hopper is going to be enabled when it's cooking, and this one's going to be disabled, and that's how that works. And the reason why we want this one disabled is because it's going to hold our ingredients. So we're going to put a chest on here, and we'll load our ingredients in a second. But for now, I want to put a lever here. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to put a sign here to remind us all, because I will forget myself someday. On. Oh, why does it do that? I don't know why it does that. But sometimes it's not centered. Okay, on. Load. So when this lever is on, it means it's time to load our ingredients. Off. It's going to run. Make runes. Right? And that's what that means. So turn it on, load the ingredients, turn it off, and it will start making stuff in our altar. Got it? Good. And I believe that's it for building materials. Now we're going to need to lay down our hopper hawk, which we're going to do. We're going to put it right here. Oop. Wrong button. And this hopper hawk is going to pick up our living rock, right? And put it in this hopper here. We're also going to want to put a little piece of dirt next to it and a chest next to it, so that everything that isn't living rock will end up in here, right? And that's the way a hopper hawk works by default. Item frames take priority. So unless this one is full, it's always going to accept living rock, and then everything else this hopper hawk picks up is going to go in here. And so, in other words, this is where our runes are going to end up. They're going to end up in this chest. It's not as complicated as it seems. All right, that's basically it for our build. That's it. It should start working now. We just have one thing left to do, and that is to put some sand in our hovering hourglass and load up our items. And before we do that, we need to put it in on mode, which is load, right? And we're going to put some ingredients in here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I want to make some fire runes here. And this is how you do it. And I'm going to give you a little tip, too, for making this much more reliable. And I'm going to put 2 pieces of living rock. And for those who don't know what's going on here, the way a chest on top of a hopper works is it always goes in a very precise order. It's always going to start here, work its way across, then go to the next row, and then go to the next row, right? So it's going to load our recipe, and then before it moves on to the next recipe, it's actually going to drop a piece of living rock. And the reason why you don't have to do this, but I recommend it in order to ensure that you don't have that problem where the rune pops up and gets stuck in the Runic Altar. Basically what can happen is this will drop the recipe, and you'll have a little piece of the next recipe sitting here, and then the Runic Altar does its thing, and you can end up with that recipe there while that first piece of the next recipe while the daffodil's blowing at it, and it can get blown away. And we don't want that. By putting a piece of living rock between it, we ensure that is never going to happen, which is great, right? All right, let's give it a try. Let's throw our lever here, and we should start cooking. And by the way, I've set this up so that you can fire mana into this from this side, and that side. But unfortunately, you can't do it from the back here because we really need that piece of living rock or whatever block you're using to be there to prevent all these items from flying off when the daffodil is enabled. And I'm sure you could see that rune shot up into the air and was blown off the edge here by, just like that, by the daffodil. And that's how it works. And it will do as many runes as you want. And you can actually put a double chest up here if you like. I think you want to build it out this way. Don't build it up to the side here because the torch is there. Now, I'm going to put some more recipes in here just to demonstrate. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I forgot to hit the load button. These things can happen, right? So if that happens, just go down here and shift right click on the altar and get the items out. All right, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And we're just going to drag these. And we're going to put those pieces of living rock back. And we're going to cook some more. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this is just because I wanted to talk about the rune being shot up into the air. So what should happen is it should get shot up into the air, and whenever that happens, the daffodil is going to be enabled, and this rune should always be in the air while that daffodil turns on, resulting in it being fired off of the altar. Now, we don't really care where it goes as long as it doesn't end up back in this altar. Okay, awesome. That is how you build a fully automated Runic Altar. It's time for the bonus round. This exact setup can be used to make botanical brews, like the Vial of Fleet Feet, Vial of Vigor, etc., etc. But in order for that to work, we need to make a few changes. Let's get rid of our Runic Altar and the dispenser. We don't need that anymore. And for this, we're just going to put down the Botanical Brewery right where the Runic Altar was. Next, we're going to get rid of this living rock in this item frame here. And we're going to replace it with either a monoglass vial or an elf glass flask. I'm going to assume that you haven't got elf glass yet, so I'm going to use some elf glass vials. Sorry, some living monoglass vials. And I already threw some down. I was testing a moment ago. And we're going to put some in here, just like that. And we have to take the living rock out of here in order for it to work. Next thing we're going to do is we're just going to put our ingredients in. It should be like magic. Let's give it a try. I'll put in the Fleet Feet ingredients and turn the lever on. And we should get a botanical brew. Look at that. Ow. And it got tossed off. You don't really need the daffodil for the Botanical Brewery, since the vials that get produced won't end up back in the altar. You don't need to worry about it. But it is kind of fun to watch them get blown away, so you might as well leave it there. All right, let's try some other recipes here. Let's put a whole bunch in and see if they get taken in order like they should. Let's give it a go. Let's see if we get a whole bunch of brews. There you have it. Fully automated botanical brewery, and we didn't really need to do anything. Same exact build, we just removed the Runic Altar, basically. Alright, that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like or comment.